this video, we are going to solve a 9-mark question covering states of matter, gas pressure, and pressure calculations. As you can see, this paper is coming from the 2025 October-November paper 3, variant 1. The first part of the question reads as follows. Figure 5.1 shows an empty metal cylinder. This is the diagram, which is the figure 5.1. And the question continues to part A and says, describe the arrangement, separation, and motion of metal particles. So the first thing that we need to do is to understand what is being asked of us. So we have a command word, which is describe, and then we are asked to describe the arrangement, separation, and motion of metal particles. This is what we are asked to do. When we look at part A, basically we can see that the metal is solid. And since the metal is solid, we need to describe solid particle behavior. For us to score the full 3 marks, it means we need to talk about the arrangement, separation, and motion. Therefore, we can answer as follows. So for the arrangement, we can say that the particles are arranged in a regular repeating pattern. Then we come to the separation. Are the particles close to each other or they are further apart? So we know that since metal is solid, the particles are tightly packed and close to each other. And then for the motion, the particles do not move, but instead vibrate in fixed positions. So this is how you can score the full 3 marks for a question that says describe the arrangement, separation, and motion of the particles. So we come to part B. The cylinder is filled with a gas. Describe how particles of the gas exert a pressure on the inside of the metal cylinder. So part B requires us to explain how gas particles create pressure on the inside of the cylinder. So this is a kinetic theory question, and here is a step-by-step logical sequence that you may need for the full 3 marks. First, the gas particles are moving randomly at high speeds. Second, as they move, they collide with the inner walls of the metal cylinder. The third and last point is each collision exerts a small force on the wall. Since pressure is defined as force per unit area, and then we can say that these billions of collisions over the surface area create the gas pressure. This is how you can respond to this question. Part C reads as follows. The weight of the metal cylinder is 420 newtons. The area of the metal cylinder in contact with the ground is 300 centimeters squared. Calculate the pressure on the ground due to the metal cylinder. The first thing that we need to do before we even start solving is to check the units. So when we check the answer, we are given Newton per centimeter squared, which means for this question, there is no need to convert any of the given units in the question because the answer expects us to use what we have been given, unless this was Newton per meter squared, which means would have been required to convert the area into meter squared. But for this one, it was a direct replacement into the formula. Pressure is equal to force divided by area. And then we can replace in our equation and say force, which is 420 newtons, divided by the area, which is 300 centimeters squared, which is basically 42 divided by 30. My calculator or my calculations are saying the pressure is 1.4 newtons per centimeter squared. But for IGCSE exams, 90% of the time the units are given. So here all you do is you write your 1.4. Done. So this is how you could score 9 marks on questions that talk about pressure calculations, gas pressure, and states of matter. See you in the next one.